And I have two of my fabulous student coordinators for admission, as well as five additional first year medical students that are going to talk about their experiences. And I will let each of them introduce themselves. So take it away. And Annika, we'll start with you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Annika. I'm one. I'm from the Bay Area, California. And I am a vocal director for Doc Opera this year, and I was a song leader for Doc Opera last year. So I can talk about that. I'm also in healthcare advocacy with RIA, which is exciting.
I
I'll
can go.
go call on Ria next. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you
Yeah.
guys can. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm Ria. I'm from Princeton, New Jersey, but I went to Case for undergrad, so I've been in Cleveland for a while now. I'm in the health advocacy organization with Annika, and we're going to Columbus next week. Yay. But other than that, I'm also part of Code Read, which is like a book club that we have.
All right.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Grace. I'm from the Pittsburgh area, and I am the production director for Doc Opera this year. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I was also in one of the songs last year, so I can also talk a little bit about my experience with that. And then additionally, I am part of the Horizons like mentoring organization that is like mentoring for high school students that are interested in like the health sciences.
I'll go next since we're on the Doc Opera train. My name is Karina. I am originally from Florida, went to college in Florida, so this is my first time being out of state. If anyone has any questions about that, I'm happy to answer. I'm also the dance director for Doc Opera, and I choreographed three numbers last year for Doc Opera, so I was quite involved in the dance aspect if anyone wants to ask about that.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Parisa. I'm from San Jose, California. I went for my undergrad to UC Santa Barbara, and I am the medical director of the student-run health clinic. So if anyone has any questions about that, I'm very happy to talk about that today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Melina. I'm one of the open house coordinators along with Manny here. And I'm going to be moderating the panel today. So thank you to our five wonderful medical students for coming for this. So first, could we start with everyone maybe talking a little bit more about what their role entails in the organization, and then maybe kind of like how you started to get involved in it and what made you decide to get involved in it?
I can start. So I'm part of the advocacy pathway. So we have like a bunch of different pathways. But I'm part of the advocacy pathway and it's kind of intertwined with the advocacy organization. So we have people who are part of the organization who aren't in the pathway, but it's kind of like most of the people who do the organization are also in the pathway. And I kind of joined just because I've been in Cleveland for a really long time, and I thought it was a really good opportunity for me to meet like physician advocates in Cleveland. And that really helped me see so many doctors within the area who've been advocates for such a long time, and they've made like impacts to Cleveland that I've seen like during my time in Cleveland. So that's been pretty cool.
Following along the healthcare advocacy or health advocacy organization, like Ria, I'm also in the pathway. And for this upcoming year, I'm going to be teaching an elective that I'm hoping a lot of you guys can join. It's our physician as an advocate elective. And like Ria, advocacy and seeing how that would work as a physician was really important to me. I also did my master's in public health ethics, so I thought that doing a class and engaging with experts in the field was just a really, really great way to kind of expand my horizons and integrate ethics and all sorts of those things that Case Western cares a lot about. So that's really exciting. And like Ria said, we're actually going down to Columbus next week to talk with senators about bills that we really care about as students, not as first case, but as students. And then for Doc Opera, the other side of it, as song lead last year, I got to help coordinate rehearsals and harmonies, etc., for one of our viral songs, Club Ciela. If you saw that on Instagram, that was us. And then this year, as voice or sorry, vocal director, I'm going to be working with Grace and Karina and other members of our executive board to, narrow down the theme, pick the songs, assign the singers, and then we're going to all come together and uh, perform this variety show, which I think Grace can talk a little bit more about, but ultimately it's to raise funds for our student-run clinics.
I
Yeah,
guess.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, no, Grace,
all
you go.
three of us.
Yeah, so basically, for anyone that doesn't know what Doc Opera is, I'm sure like a lot of you guys do because I feel like it's so popular. But it's an annual performance completely put on by students every year. And like Annika said, it raises money for our student-run health clinics. And what I really like about Doc Opera is that you can kind of get involved however like much or little as you want to, and it's kind of like up to you like how much you get involved. So you can be a singer, you can be a dancer, you can do tech, you can be in the band, and like pretty much none of these things you need previous experience for. Like we literally will take anybody. And it's super fun because I feel like it's just a nice way for everybody to kind of express their like artistic and creative sides, which is not something you always get to do in medicine and in med school. And it's a great study break, a great way to meet new people, and then it's also for a good cause. So that's kind of like why I wanted to get involved with it. I was also very much like into theater when I was in high school. So it's definitely something that aligned with my interests. And then whenever I did it this year, I was only in one song, but I had like the most fun time. It was super fun. I also loved getting to see all the other performances. So I really wanted to get involved more, which is why I applied for the production director role. We're also announcing our theme for the next year's show tomorrow. So keep an eye out on our Instagram, Doc Opera, and you can find out the theme tomorrow for next year's show that you guys will hopefully be a part of.
Drop the Instagram in the chat.
I can do that.
I'll go off of Grace since we're talking about Doc Opera, but I mainly wanted to get, actually, it was one of the main reasons why I wanted to come to Case was because I've been a dancer since I was 3 years old. So that was like a non-negotiable for me. It's my main form of stress relief, and I find myself to be way more productive when I have to look forward to dancing. I also love to share my love for dance. So, as Grace and Annika suggested, you don't need any prior experience. And one of my favorite things is to kind of teach at a beginner level to an advanced level. And just being able to share my passion for movement and movement therapy and whatnot. And then also, used to do a lot of philanthropy in college. So I like that it's kind of philanthropic in the sense that it's all for a good cause in the student-run health clinic that we run.
I feel like that's a perfect segue to the student-run health clinic. So just to kind of explain what we do, the Student Run Health Clinic, it's a free clinic that's open to the people of Cleveland, regardless of their background or their insurance status or anything. We're interdisciplinary, so we have a medical team, which I'm the director of, then we have a dental team. We also have PA and nursing students who help out, and we have social work as well. And so I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the clinic. It's that when a patient comes in, they get everything. It's like a one-stop shop for their dental care. They can get set up with insurance, and Medicare and things like that through social work. And they, get to get medical care as well. And so it's very near and dear to my heart because actually my first, I guess you could say, technical patient ever in medical school was when I volunteered with the clinic for the first time. And I think many of the students who volunteer can say the same. We had learned some skills in our physical diagnosis workshops, but it was all on patient actors up until then. And then the first time I volunteered, it was pretty nerve-wracking, but when I went in, I got to apply everything we had learned to an actual patient. And then I got to practice giving an oral presentation back to the physician that we work with, Dr. Navacruz, not too far at the neighborhood family practice. and it was life-changing for me. I was like, oh my God, wow, so this is what it feels like to care for patients, and it's such an amazing cause. We get to do that for free and serve our community that we live in. So that was my inspiration for running for director. And this year we're hoping to make it a walk-in clinic, which would be an incredible improvement, and we'll definitely be able to serve a greater patient population.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. I want to open it up quickly to see if anyone else in the audience has any questions. If not, I can also keep asking questions, but I wanted to give some time right now. Not, you can feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Yes, like Tom said, don't be shy. One thing that I can ask the panelists next is kind of maybe talking about balancing extracurriculars and the student orgs they're involved in, community service, talk opera with school, and kind of how you all manage that.
I think there's a question in the chat for the clinic.
Yeah, I can answer it and then also like start answering that question too. So I think it's such a great question. So for how frequently we host the clinic, it's every 2 weeks right now on Saturdays. And is it hard for med students to get volunteering spots? I would say it is a little bit challenging to accommodate everyone, but the best way, so the way it works is we send out the volunteering sign up form, you fill it out, and then you submit it. I personally, when I first submitted that form coming into med school, didn't get a consistent volunteering position. But what they allow you the option of is to be put on the wait list. And so I opted to be on the wait list. And I frequently would get emails like, oh, someone dropped out last minute. Can you take their spot? And that's how I got to volunteer. So we are always like in need of volunteers still because things happen. Last minute, people drop out. So you can always, even if you don't get a volunteering position, just be on the wait list and I'm sure that you'll be able to like volunteer at some point. Hopefully that answers that question. And then like Melina, your question about balancing. I think that it's pretty overwhelming when you first come to med school, the amount of opportunities there are and things to sign up for. Like, you're going to be getting emails all the time. And theoretically, if you say yes to everything, you're really going to regret that down the line. And so I think it's a matter of really just prioritizing the things you're passionate about, and that passion kind of keeps you going, even when there's a lot on your plate. And we're all Google Calendar people. We have everything booked away there. And so I just find it to be like, prioritizing things that I'm really, really passionate about to keep me going even when it's tough, and then just making sure to like really put things in Google Calendar and, time manage to be able to attend to everything.
Yeah, honestly, I think Case does a really good job of giving you the space to kind of have a lot of free time. Pretty much like every day, our entire afternoons are like free to kind of schedule out whatever extracurriculars or research or stuff that you want to do. So I do think that there is definitely a lot of room to like get involved. But I think similarly, like Parisa said, like when everything kind of came out at the beginning of the year, like I feel like I was signing up for everything. And then after that, I kind of really just like looked at everything I signed up for and like picked the things that like Parisa said, like I was really passionate about. So I really enjoy mentoring. So that's why I joined Horizons. And then obviously I really like theater and music. So that's why I joined Doc Opera. And also like a lot of these things are like decently like low in terms of time commitment, depending on what you get involved with. Like Horizons is only 2 hours once a month is how often we hold the sessions. And there's really not much like outside of that. So it's really easy to fit into your schedule. And then, like I said, for Doc Opera, like you can get in as many or in as little songs or like however much you want to get involved. So me, I was only in one song this past year. And so it was like a 1 hour rehearsal like every other week until the week of the show. And then the week of the show is a little bit more intense like time wise, but like it was super chill. And if you have that extra time, like you can sign up for more songs. So I think that's really nice as well.
Um, Going off of Doc Opera, and also I agree with everything Parisa and Grace said. from a organization standpoint, again, it's only like an hour, and honestly, some groups only met like twice, maybe three times before we actually had our tech week. And then somehow during tech week, everything comes together. And the great part about Doc Opera Tech Week is it's usually after your exams. So you're not actively studying for exams while you're also, going to be at rehearsals with the band and dance and etc. So I actually think Doc Opera and I was in a couple songs as well, plus song leading. So from the singer standpoint, I actually thought it was pretty manageable. And then, like Grace and Parisa said, in the beginning of the school year, you're going to have a lot of things coming at you, and you might sign up for a ton of things. Like I also did Horizons. Karina and I used to volunteer at this Brain Health Foundation, which was really amazing, and we try to go there when we have time. But by the time I think you get further into your M1 year, you really start realizing what are the things that I have time for, what are the things that kind of give me joy and give me energy, even though I'm, handling so much. You really start to figure those things out. But yeah, I think CASE definitely helps in that regard, especially when we talk about like all the pathway opportunities, all the research opportunities. If you come here, you'll figure out very quickly that CASE kind of like they don't throw everything at you all at once. It's still overwhelming to see all the organizations, but they're not going to be like, you have to do this research at the same time that you have to figure out this organization at the same time that you have to figure out this pathway. It's all kind of like staggered. Let me know if that didn't make sense.
Yeah, I feel like as everyone has kind of talked about, I was very intentional. It was very easy to become overwhelmed and want to participate in everything. I have a problem of saying no. So I became good at saying no when I got to medical school in the beginning because I wanted to make sure I wanted to like put my 100% effort into the things that I loved. And especially like one of my main things that I wanted for myself again was like having dance in my life because that's my like number one form of stress relief and it always has been. In terms of dance with Doc Opera, I would say that's probably the biggest time commitment. As Grace said, it just depends on how many numbers you're in because we do meet weekly and it's an hour per number that you're in. I was in five, so I'm like the opposite side of the spectrum where I did have like quite a lot of practices, but I will say if you're an athlete or if you're used to doing dance in your life, like I was always at practice from 4 to 9 after school. Like, so I was just used to having that kind of routine. And with that, we're all very good with time management. This is why we all got into medical school. And so you're good at using a Google Calendar or your planner to kind of plan out your schedule. So I had always gotten everything done before those practices so that I could go enjoy myself and also I used that as my workout that day. So I didn't have to work out or anything because I just danced. And so that was also helpful too.
I think for me at the start of the year, I had like pretty much the same experience. Like I signed up for a bunch of things and then I was like not sure of what to drop and what to keep. And I think that really finding a good mentor and like asking them for guidance was what helped me the most. Like really just like cold emailing people and like finding a mentor and then asking them like, hey, like this is all that I'm involved in, but like I don't really feel good about doing everything because I found that like I was having fun in everything that I had signed up for because they're like really cool things. Like you'll have fun doing everything that you want to do, but you also have to be mindful of the fact that you can burn out very easily because like there is such an energy commitment to it. So I think that really helped me narrow things down, like talking to my mentor. But I think like the general rule that I followed was there's just so many requirements that come with a lot of these commitments. Like for a pathway, like we had to be in like two electives. We had to like low key be in HAO. Like so it was like there's like a lot that comes with just one commitment. So like be in it for a second and see what comes with it and then like see if that works out. And then like after that see what you have time for. And also like I was in Doc Opera. I literally forgot about that. I was in the same one as Grace. I was in a dance And I haven't been like a dancer. Like I wasn't at practice 4 to 9 after school, and I promise you like it's really doable. Like I had so much fun doing it. It was you really like the people you do it with. And there's like M1s and M2s, so I would say like it gives you like that additional mentorship. You can talk to them about like, hey, I feel really overwhelmed. Like, should I keep this on, let go? And one good thing that I really took advantage of was they had like recordings of the practices. So the ones that I couldn't go to, like I was like, okay, like I'll just watch it on the way to the next practice. So like I kind of have like a good idea of what I'm doing. And I'm like still staying accountable even though I wasn't there. So I definitely do think that if you want to do like a lot of things that you have the space and time to do it. But I would say like maybe like a couple months in, like check in with yourself and see like if you're doing good with all the things that are on your plate.
Yeah, really quickly to add on to what Ria just said, I want to make it clear as a dance director this year that we're usually pretty lenient in terms of like attendance at the beginning because we're all medical students, so we're all really busy. And there were times that I did not go to all 5 hours each week. There were definitely times where I would like skip out and then just, like Ria said, watch the video and just catch up later. And it was totally fine. I also want to mention too that the biggest mentorship I've ever gotten in making friends and mixed classes was through Doc Opera because I met a lot of M3s, M4s, M2s that I'm still friends with now.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. Does anyone in the audience have any questions now?
I had two questions. One might be kind of out of the scope of this, but I was just wondering because these groups are like people like sign up individually and then it becomes a group, but are there also separate like music related groups or anything else on campus that med students get involved in and then like that becomes a part of Doc Opera? Or
Yeah,
is it more
that's a
like I
great
guess an independent
question.
thing?
Yeah, wait, Grace, are you in Docapella?
I'm not in Docapella, but I do
Okay.
know about it, yeah.
So we have a med school a cappella group called Docapella, and they always get a song in Doc Opera every year. They don't have to audition, they don't have to do anything. They just show up and do their song. And they actually perform. I think they just did a dental thing recently. The dental school had like a gala or something, and they performed at that. They also have their own gigs, and yes, they do perform at Doc Opera. We also have another organization called Physician Musicians, I believe, and I think this term in particular, they're setting up um, performing like in the hospital and things like that. But it really just is a community of people who really love music and want to perform together. And then there's so many opportunities to just perform, I feel like. Uh, One example is at the end of anatomy boot camp. So Case has a 2 week anatomy boot camp. Um, where you're working with cadavers. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, we hold a memorial service for the cadavers and the donors and their families. And students are asked to perform for that as well. So there's like tons of opportunities, at least within the medical school.
Also, like kind of to the point of like an organization that's like in Doc Opera. Like I'm not associated with Doc Opera like that, but like I just know that there's like so many people who are in like the improv club who like did a bunch of the skits last year for Doc Opera. And my favorite part of Doc Opera was obviously my dance. And then after that, like I thought the skits were really funny. And like they're all like written by like students. And I think they're all from the improv group. I don't know if like how that worked, but I saw a lot of overlap with people from the improv group. So that's like another.
Okay, thank you so much. My other question was just like, I might have just missed this in the beginning, but is the doc opera thing itself, and I guess for all the other like individual groups, like to is it like a class-wide like sign up thing is sent out, or you have to go and like apply?
For Doc Opera, it's basically just like we send out the emails and it's like if you want to sign up for this, fill out this Google form and you'll be like signed up. And that kind of goes, I see there's a question in the chat about like how do you decide which part of Doc Opera you're in? It's really like up to you. So basically for whenever we send out like the song, application if you're interested. Well, not even an application, it's basically just like an interest form. Whatever song that you're interested in, like you can rank out of the songs which ones you want to be in, and then you audition. But its audition is like super chill. It's basically just to like, I know like maybe Annika can speak more on this, but it's basically just to like see maybe like what songs we would put you in that would be like kind of like balancing vocal parts. And then after that, we'll like let you know which songs you've been in. And I think most people get at least one of the songs that they ranked. And then for dance, it's basically like you pick whatever ones you want to be in. So like they send out the whole form of these are all the songs, and then we have like open kind of like office hours for the dances, and you can kind of like go see what the dance is like. And if you like it, then you can keep being in the dance, or you could like try a different one out or whatever. And then for band, I'm pretty sure it's just like if you like play an instrument and you're interested in like you can sign up to be a part of it. So that's kind of like how you um like get in it. We just kind of like send out interest forms and then you fill it out from there. But nobody gets like rejected from Doc Opera.
Yeah, to really quickly add with the dance aspect of it, it's a reverse audition. So all the choreographers video themselves with like a 30-second snippet so that the students can decide, is this a number I want to be in or not?
And
Like, oh,
oh,
sorry.
sorry. No, go ahead.
Just to like the dance part of it, because I picked my dance based on like one of my friends was choreographing it. So it's a great way to show support for your friends. And also, um, like Karina said, there's like that 30-minute clip in advance, so you can like kind of do your first pass. Like that's how I picked a song. And then I was like, okay, like I'll go to like the trials or whatever that Grace was talking about to like see if I like can actually do the dance because some of these dances look really easy, but then they're like really hard when you get there. So like I dropped a couple of dances like that. Um, in terms of like which part of Doc Opera, I think it's like a lot of people like do things that they're not good at. Like sometimes like they want to like experiment. I wasn't like that. Like I was like I can't do singing, can't do band. And then I was like, okay, like there's tech and dance and like I just wanted to support my friend's side of dance. But yeah, I love the reverse audition. It's like so not stressful. Like I was so worried about like having to dance in front of a group of people, but like it's really not stressful. And they do such a good job of making it like a positive experience for you, even if you don't have any experience.
I think Grace kind of covered this pretty well, but just to reiterate, so I do need you guys to sign up for an audition, but it's so not an audition. It's like everyone gets in. It's more so me and my co-vocal director, Vaughn, we can hear you guys, see how high you can sing, see how low you can sing, and we'll try to match up the song to the person. And I think there's usually about, Grace, correct me if I'm wrong, but like 10 to 15 songs maybe. Is that kind of high? I
No, there
forgot.
might even be more than that actually.
Okay, great. So
There's
there's usually
definitely
about
plenty to choose from.
there's plenty of songs to choose from. We'll usually consider um, the ones you definitely don't want to be in. So we'll have you rank the songs you do want to be in, the songs you don't want to be in, and then we'll also consider the balance we have. But yeah, really the more the merrier. It's always fun. You in a song, you don't have to sing a solo if you don't want to. You can choose to like sing with other people all together, or you can choose to have a solo. It's totally up to you. It's very, very chill. And it's so much fun. Ugh, truly, I didn't get to say this earlier, but it's like the most fun I've had in medical school to date. It's truly singing primary care on the doc opera stage, Karina dancing in the background. It was so fun.
I also heard like one of my bigs for SAMHSA is was one of the vocal directors, Leica, and she was telling me that you can sign up like with your friends and they try to make sure that you guys can like sing together, or like dance and like close to each other and stuff like that. So like if you're worried that like I don't want to be alone, I definitely was worried about that. Like I signed up with one of my friends and we were like basically dancing next to each other the whole time. So just like be as descriptive as you can in the form, and I think you're okay.
Yeah, also I don't realize if I actually mentioned this earlier when I was explaining Doc Opera, but It's all like parodies of songs, and then we make it like medically themed. I realized I didn't think I clarified that, but maybe you guys already know that. But if you didn't, yeah, we basically just like take a bunch of like popular songs and then we change all the lyrics to make them like medical. And then there's like medical skits, and like one of them was like what not to do in a patient encounter, etc. So in case anyone was confused, like what kind of songs you're singing or dancing to, it's like popular songs and then we like rewrite all the lyrics to them.
For example, primary care was Pink Pony Club, right?
Yes. Yes.
It was good. It was really good.
I can just say, like, as someone who, unfortunately, I was so lame, guys. As someone who did not do anything for Doc Opera this past year, biggest regret of my life, I will be in it next year. I was an observer in the crowd. So I can just say that this production is like Broadway level, guys. But at the same time, everyone has so much fun doing it. You can tell that there wasn't an immense amount of pressure put on people because they're having fun. They're not like overly nervous. It seems like a very, very good atmosphere and positive one. But at the same time, it becomes a production and it's so amazing in the end. So it was like the most beautiful and funny thing I had ever seen. And I'm just like so excited to be in it next year.
I will say I had many, many people come to me after the show saying, Karina, I'm gonna do it next year. And I was like, okay, you better, because those people regretted it. Very fun.
I have a question. Um, do you need any like dance or singing experience to be part of Doc Opera?
Absolutely not. You can have whatever dance, you can have no dance experience. You could be like a ballet dancer, you could be a hip hop dancer. It literally does not matter. Like, no experience in singing, no experience in like nothing is required. Basically, just like come as you are and it'll be super fun.
We have all levels to accommodate. You can have two left feet and join Doc Opera.
Anyone else in the audience have any other questions? You can also feel free to ask about something not related to community service or Doc Opera. We have, you can ask any medical school questions you want.
I did have a question about the pathways because it's like you're not required to join one, but I know there's like a health and wellness or something, right? That's like nutrition focused. Is that just will that like come up later? Like we don't have to worry about that right now, I'm guessing.
Oh, sorry.
I I'm part of the wellness pathway, but like with every pathway, it's sort of like at the end of block one, they'll sort of like send out all the information. You sort of apply to the ones like your top three, and then some of them might have like an interview process. I know for wellness, they just had us record like ourselves talking about why we're passionate about wellness and preventative health and turn that in. And then you hear back towards like, I think like towards maybe like at the start of block two or towards the end of anatomy boot camp, but you don't really have to worry about it. They'll let you know when it's time, like towards the end of block one.
Yeah, and I think there was also like an info session about the pathways where you could like go and like pick ones that you wanted to like learn more about. And then there would be like a bunch of people at a table and someone who was like either in the pathway or the head of the pathway kind of like explained. So you'll get like more information about kind of what the requirements are for the pathway, and like what kind of goes on with the pathway.
I also want to add that we have a recording in Accepted Central from our panel that we had, I believe it was a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And it was all about pathways and electives. So I think that's definitely valuable to watch to see some familiar faces. So Annika and Manny were also on the panel. But yeah, that has a lot of information about the pathways if you're interested in that. I think there's another
Thank you so
question in
much.
the chat, a couple questions in the chat if you guys want to answer.
I can answer the first one. We do have a med school prom. It's called the Hippo Ball, and we had it this past fall. Very fun. We also had a boat party too. That was at, I think, the end of block one. And that was really fun as well. So definitely opportunities for socialization and dressing all cute and fancy.
I really liked the boat party. It was really well done, and it's M1, M2 this year, or like it's I think it was like the first time our year, and like it's gonna be that way. So I'm excited to be back on a boat, but yeah, that was like super fun. And then we had Hippo Ball, which has themes every year. So like this year it was at the Brown Stadium. Question mark. Yeah. Sorry, I get confused between like which ones are which. And then last year was an aquarium and people were petting stingrays and stuff. So like stay tuned for next what next year's is. And then there's like random like events scattered throughout that aren't like a gala or anything, but it's still like people coming together to like hang out. They'll have like deals and stuff for us, so that's pretty nice to incentivize us. But yeah, there's always something going on.
We always have like an end of block party too after we're done with exam week, which is always really fun to hang out. Um, there's also another question in the chat if anyone wants to touch on that one. How did you find community service organizations to get involved in? And does Case send out a list?
Yeah, I can get into that one a little bit. As soon as you get here, you will get a lot of emails with opportunities, and one subset of those opportunities is community service, volunteering positions and such. And so, I remember there were so many different opportunities, whether it be some where you, for example, go to high schools and you present a medical topic, or you help elementary students with their homework and reading, or it's like the student-run health clinic. So there's so many different options for volunteering. Some might even be more specialty specific. I know that some students interested in ophthalmology will go and do like vision screenings or something. So there's a lot available. And so you'll definitely get a lot of emails about that when you get here. I think if you're like super eager and want to look at some different opportunities, I'm sure that the Case website has some of the different bigger organizations. I know the Student Run Health Clinic is on there and the links to the website and such. So you can definitely kind of research in advance to see what you're interested in. But don't worry at all. You will be bombarded with emails when you get here with opportunities.
There will also be a club fair in the beginning of it'll be when the M2, so us upcoming incoming M2s, which is crazy to say out loud. But I think that will happen maybe in September, August or September, pretty much when
I
we're
think it
we're
was like
back on.
first week of September last year.
Yeah, yeah. So there's going to be like a huge club fair, and you can go around to different tables, and people will tell you about their organizations, and you can sign up and join a listserv like then. So not only are you getting bombarded with emails, you will also see all of our faces trying to pull you into our organizations. Another thing I wanted to plug is Pathways. I know we have that whole recording that I suggest you guys go watch. You can also look at the websites for the different pathways. But one way that I found some of my field experiences, projects, organizations was through my pathway. And so that's another option.
I also think,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I was gonna say like in block one you have to do field experiences where they send you out to like different like community partners within Cleveland. So if you do want to maybe like volunteer with one of them, I think that's like a great way to like meet people and like network with them. I know we also had speed mentoring block one if you want to like find a mentor and ask them like for like any specialty specific um initiatives that you might be interested in. For research, there is a list, and I love that list. I use that list to find my research. It's this database and they like update it very frequently. Like Dr. Hand said she like calls people every semester to ask if they still want to be on it. So as long as they're on the list, it's probably like a good idea to email them. So I feel like as long as you are just engaged in block one, really, you'll get like kind of like what Parisa was talking about. Like you'll get so many things being thrown at you. It's kind of just like taking the time to like see which ones you really want to do and can do.
Yeah, I was also gonna mention the field experiences in Block One. Like Ria said, the one that like I went to was like the Cleveland Sight Center, which is actually like right down the street from the Heck. And whenever I went there, they were like, "Oh yeah, if you guys really enjoyed this experience, like we are always taking volunteers." So there's definitely like a lot of like niche ways that you can kind of find to get involved. And also through like different like kind of unexpected things. Like I know like the OB/GYN interest group like sent out a thing about volunteering with preterm, which is something that like I wanted to get involved with. So there's definitely like a lot of ways and but mo I feel like most of it is definitely like through email. But if there's also like nothing that you're feeling super passionate about, there's definitely like a lot of places in Cleveland that will like take volunteers that might not be like advertised at Case. So you can definitely like kind of do a lot of research, and as you kind of explore the city, you might like find things that you would want to get involved with.
Sorry, really quickly. Also, Tuesday seminar low key like gives you so many
I was just gonna say that.
like organizations to partner with. Like um when you're like the leader, you kind of have to like send out this email to everyone. Um and you can like include extra organizations. A lot of times like my facilitators will like give me feedback and be like, hey, like this is like a good resource where like people could volunteer. So this week they told us about this organization called like Seeds for Literacy, which sounds really cool. And like I'm gonna check them out. And I didn't know about this all along, but in Tuesday seminar they talked about it. So it's really just like so many ways.
Does anyone on the panel not have a car here and can speak on the experience?
I don't have a, well, I do have a car, but I'm a really bad driver. And I've been here for like when I didn't have a car here. So, the bus and the shuttle lines, I would say like the bus and the train are like the most reliable forms of like getting across. There's a field experience actually for with the RTA, and like luckily I was on it. That was super nice. They took us on the train and showed us how to get to different places in Cleveland. We get up Oh, okay. Sorry. I just saw like the chat. I just saw my name and I got scared. Um, but we get like a free pass at the start of the year, and then I think you get it like seasonally. So we just got like our spring one or something. And that's kind of like gets you good for everything. So, um, you just show it to like the bus driver as you're getting on. And like it's built into like any navigation system you use. So like I just use like Apple Maps and like it'll tell me what stop to get on at and what stop to get off at. And the bus stop is like right by the Heck. So like you don't really even have to walk that much. The train stop is in Little Italy. So that's like kind of close to the Heck, I would say. 15 minutes, maybe. So yeah, like it also like takes you straight to the airport. And Ubers to the airport are always like really expensive. There'll be people like willing to split an Uber with you to the airport because we all like leave and come at the same time. But yeah, like the train's a really good bet if not. But yeah, it's like not very well connected, I would say. It can get you to a place and then you have to like walk a little, but it's pretty good if you don't have a car. Like I don't think you'll be like stuck without a car. And for the book club, um, there's two book clubs. So there's one that's like medical focused a little bit, and then the other one which is like the books aren't really medical focused. Like it's like whatever like book they choose. I think in both of them, it's like people vote on a book that they want to read that month and they like come together and read about it. I'm not a great reader, so like I haven't really been doing really good with these book clubs. Like I like read like as much as I can. But they do a really good job of like tailoring the discussion questions to like people who have read like no like none of the book to like all of the books. So it's really nice to like participate in these conversations. I'm in like the medical one, so like it's nice to like get like a different perspective on medicine. Even like I think we read Breath Becomes Air, and then we read something else, The Body Keeps Score, and then we just read another book, and I don't remember its name. But they were all like really good, especially as like M1s. I think it like gave me a lot of insight. And I think the other book clubs like very chill vibes. They just read Babel. Um, and I think they had like a discussion about it recently. They just went and watched a movie for a book that they read, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, like I think both the book clubs are really cute. They're really tight knit. So that's a good way to find friends too.
All right, any other questions? We have about 10 minutes left. If not, maybe everyone could offer piece of advice to the incoming students, maybe related to community involvement in Doc Opera, maybe not. Just thoughts.
I think my biggest advice is like taking your time to like really get to know the city. I feel like Cleveland's like a city like you kind of have to like grow to love it. I remember when I came here like 4 years ago, I was like, this is so different from New Jersey, but like over time I really liked it. It has a lot of spirit as a city. The more like you volunteer and like the more people you meet from here, the more you'll see like what the city like truly stands for, like how much like spirit like all these people have and like how much they actually do care about the city. It's a great place to be for healthcare. You'll meet so many doctors. So it's really hard to get overwhelmed, but I would say like for from like a community involvement aspect, like really like approach the city with curiosity, I think. Like I think that's gonna help you get the most out of it. The part like have something that you care about and like see how you can like achieve that within the city and like help the city out. There's a lot of work to be done in the city, but like we have so many people, so like it'll be good.
Yeah, I agree with Ria on approaching the city with curiosity for sure. I know we talked a lot about how you get bombarded with experiences at the beginning of the year, and we all went through signing up for a lot and then cutting back later. I think that's an experience that everyone should go through, though. Be open at the beginning because you don't know what you're gonna like and dislike, and there's no way to know unless you sign up for things and put yourself out there. I would argue it's best to even put yourself out of your comfort zone. And so sign up for things, show up with a curious mind and really pay attention to how you feel. How do these experiences make you feel? Is that something you want to continue because you genuinely love it yourself? Don't do anything because it's gonna look good to someone else. Like from we're still far from residency, but if I've learned anything from all these match panels and stuff, it seems like residencies really care about you being passionate about the things that you do. So just pay attention to how you feel, and that will allow you to narrow down. You're not going to make huge commitments that you can, never say no ever again to at the beginning of the year. It's everyone is here to, push you towards your success, and they will be very supportive if you explain, this isn't a right fit for me anymore. So just be open and pay attention to like how things make you feel and what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I feel like going off of what Parisa said in terms of like listening to yourself, I feel like even just in like your general like med school experience and just like your general life, that's like so important. Like if I'm just like studying and I can tell that I am like not being productive or I'm just like not really taking in information, like I'm like, yeah, it's not productive for me to study right now. So like I'll go for a walk or like I'll watch an episode of TV and like that's okay. And I normally don't feel guilty about it. And then I think it's just like it is like really good. I feel like I've never done more self-reflection than I have in med school, whether that is like intentional or like as a result of a lot of the aspects of the curriculum. But I do feel like it has made myself like become a little bit more self-aware and also just like know what I want to prioritize. And then also in regards to the question in the chat, I don't know if there's any specific student group for hiking. There is a run club, which I am in, and I would highly encourage everyone. It's super fun. And we have run at some of the metro parks. It's very casual, like low key, and then we always get like coffee or brunch afterwards. So I would also recommend joining that.
There is no hiking group, but there's so many people interested in hiking. Like, I remember, like, within the first week, I was talking to one of my friends, Anuya, and we just went on a hike and then we were like hiking with like 10 people the next day. Like it's so easy to start clubs. Like it's gonna be okay. And also kind of like to Grace's point, what she said about like not feeling guilty. Like we just had like this AMWOC panel and one of the doctors on the panel was talking about how like at baseline, like she just feels guilty. And I feel like that's such a common experience, like as a med student, because like you like have this like in like I don't know, like we're so good at like setting goals for ourselves that it's like hard to like just let yourself rest. And it's like always like personally, like I just feel like so guilty, like, oh, I'm not doing enough, I could be doing more. But like hearing that like, oh, like she's an attending and she still feels guilty, it's like maybe like I don't want to feel guilty anymore. So like really be like kind to yourself, give yourself some more grace, and really just take the experience like at your own pace, I would say.
My advice is to join Doc Opera. That's my first piece of advice. I think you'll be really happy if you do that. And I agree with what everyone said. I think it's important to have time for yourself, whether that's joining a club or just being alone and decompressing on your couch, watching an episode of The Pit. Like it's really up to you. And you, I think over the last couple of months, we've all gotten really good at really understanding what gives us energy, what gives us rest, etc. I think another thing is maybe in undergrad, a lot of you were sort of used to like, I have to do X, Y, and Z to apply to medical school. And maybe you feel like you have to do that for residency. But again, like Parisa said, based on these match panels that we've had, and I don't know if you guys know, but we match pretty well. I'm really proud of all of our M4s. But if there's anything I've gathered, it's really like you're not doing things just to do them. You're doing things because they're really important to you. You have limited time, so they have to be really important to you. And at the end of the day, it tells who you are. It tells your story. You're not necessarily checking off boxes anymore. You're truly doing things that you're passionate about, and then the story kind of writes itself because you're being you. And I think Case Western is a great place where you can be genuine and you can also genuinely try things for the first time, whether that's specialties you've never even heard of, or it's singing and dancing on a stage for the first time in your life. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it really is a matter of taking advantage of all the opportunities and resources you have, but also um, just taking advantage of how kind faculty is, how kind each and every one of your peers will be. This truly is not a competitive atmosphere, yet everyone is competitive. That is to say, like everyone is so smart and so accomplished, but everyone is also supporting one another because, we're pass fail, we're extremely collaborative in all aspects, whether that's academics or even doc opera. So, yeah, I would say really take advantage and tell your story.
Couldn't have
I'd
said
say,
it better than
oh,
myself. Sorry. I couldn't have said it better to echo what everyone else said, but kind of a sappy thing. You do not have to lose a piece of yourself just because you're pursuing a career in medicine. You are a person, you are a human being, and you can have passions outside of medicine. I never thought that I would be able to have time for dance, coming into here. And being able to perform on that stage again was literally like a feeling like no other. And do Doc Opera. So yeah.
yeah, my biggest piece of advice other than to do doc opera, I say is just to make sure you don't feel like pressure to sign up for anything or like any like extracurriculars or anything just because other people are. I know like sometimes like we'll get like random events in our email and they'll send out a spreadsheet and have people sign up and you'll see like 30 people sign up for in like 2 minutes. So you feel like you need to sign up also. That's not the case. I fell in that trap a lot and I think I sort of just realized like, am I signing up just so that just because everyone else is signing up, or am I signing up because actually want to do this? So that's something it takes time because like there's always that pressure, but you truly just want to do something or like everything that you're passionate about. And you don't want to sacrifice like other important things like actual like med school classes, things like that. So that's sort of like advice I wish I took more seriously earlier on, but like you also want to explore things. So um everyone has their sort of learning experience with that.
I agree. I second what everyone said. Don't compare yourself to everyone else. Also make time for yourself and your own interests. And, burnout is real. I think we've all experienced it at a certain point. But we have like breaks interspersed out. I think a lot of us were really burnt out before spring break. So spring break was a really nice break and we kind of all came back really refreshed. And it's okay to feel burnt out. Like I think a lot of us are experiencing similar feelings. So just know you're not alone. But yeah. Any last questions or Tom, any points you want to add?
I don't think I can add anything that hasn't been said. Great job, everybody. That was great. I
All
can't wait to hear
right.
the
Thank you
Doc Opera
guys.
theme tomorrow. I can't wait to hear what it's
I
going to
know.
be.
Stay
The
tuned on the
suspense is killing
Instagram,
me.
everyone.
Well,
All
thanks,
right. Well,
everybody.
yeah, thank you guys for coming. I hope to see some of you at the open house on Saturday if I haven't met you yet. But yeah,
Awesome. Thank you all so much. This will be recorded and placed on Accepted Central. Appreciate everybody logging in. Big thank you to our panelists as well. It was fantastic. And probably see a lot of you at open house this weekend. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a good night.
Bye,
bye
guys. Good night.
guys.